Whether anyone have any doubts or something? Because that is what I learned from my teacher, especially Suresh. When he enters, he used to ask any doubts. Then he used to tell if no doubts means whether you understood everything or you not understood anything. Okay. So we just quickly recall yesterday. What we did is for gamma zero divisor graph of ZPQ, we have calculated the non-zero eigenvalues, and whoever know about it, if you know the eigenvalues, then energy one can easily calculate. Energy and this index, Wiener index and all, they're actually used in somewhere in chemistry, some applications related, but I was not in deep of that. But this Wiener index and energy, these things can be used to compare those chemical bonds and all. And then for P square Q, we are able to calculate the characteristic equation. Okay, I mean that means if lambda, it is not exactly characteristic equation, any non-zero eigenvalue actually satisfies this fourth degree equation. Okay. And also we discussed compressed zero divisor graph and the characteristic equation of P power Z P power n for any prime and for any natural number n. This, as I explained earlier, these coefficients BIs, they are involving binomial coefficients. This Ni is a floor function. Okay. I can just show you quickly outline how we approach so that you can see some interesting things there. This is the, of course, general standard form of adjacency matrix for this compressed zero divisor ZP power n, because that is understood. What should be the different vertices, because their vertices are equivalence classes. So those equivalence classes, we can easily write it as multiple of P. This is then multiple of P square up to multiple of P power n minus 1. Okay, so this n minus 1 is a size matrix. Okay. Then you can easily check that this will be only adjacent with this last one and so on. That is the reason you will get here all ones and below that ones, and above that all are zeros. Okay, because they are not adjacent. Okay. Now if you so if you take the that method I already explained, we will be using this block matrix ABCD form. Okay, this is then this is nothing but determinant of A into determinant of D minus C A inverse B. So calculating this D minus C inverse B, it looks like this: A3 minus lambda A3 and so on. Okay, I'll tell you what is this A3s. Then when, of course, when this is n is odd. Okay, so we have to split. We have observed that when n is odd, it is little different, and when is even, it is little different. So when n is even, we are having this one. Okay, so structure is same. Here you will have A3 minus lambda, then A5 minus lambda, A7 minus lambda, and so on. Whereas here even numbers: A2 minus lambda, A4, A6, and so on. Okay. Then all are same. Here A2. Then here starts with A2, then A4, all will be A4. Okay, then A2, A4. That means below this diagonal element, whatever it is there, all those elements are same. In the sense, here, all whatever we are talking about here, they are all A6. Whatever we are talking about here, they are all A4 and so on. Okay, so that pattern one can observe here, in no matter whether it is even or odd. Okay. And solving, we can solve this after simplification. Final result will be same, no matter whether n is even or odd. Okay. So if sorry, here what is an is this 1 plus this floor n minus 1 by 2. Okay, so if n is odd and n is even, depending on this value is differ. So this, instead of writing, we have made it simply an. Okay. And if you observe, you take for example even case, this is even, and how we got this one, you simply if you take this and from second row, you obviously, for example, R3 minus R2, R4 minus R2, and so on. If you simply apply the basic row operations, we get here these elements are 0. Okay, here all are this. Okay, and of course, one can expand this determinant using this first column. Once you expand this determinant using first column, A2 minus lambda into one determinant you will get, then minus A2 into another determinant you will get, right? Why that I would like to say here is that now this one just resembles like the previous one, A4 minus lambda, then A6. If you go back here, this is just like this. See, whatever matrix we have here, okay, this diagonal entries, then here. Okay, similarly, it is whatever we are going to see after expanding the determinant after this one, we will see that this one is similar to that. Okay, that means again the procedure is same. You simplify. Here also you simplify. So every time you get two different determinants, but they are just resembles the previous step like that. Okay, so then you start simplifying, and finally you get the result in terms of that binomial coefficient. That those things I am skipping. Okay, why I am saying that here is that one can think of this proof in another way also. Means, can you find the characteristic equation in terms of recursiveness? Okay, why? Because the way we have started, first we observed there is a Pascal-like triangle. Okay, once we have a Pascal-like triangle, then the next coefficients follows from previous one. Okay, so same way one can think that this characteristic equation of ZP power n, okay, is it recursive? Can we find the formula? This one can thought of. I mean, not sure whether it is possible or not sure how much difficult it is, but one can, whoever is interested can really find whether we can find a characteristic equation in recursive form. Okay, because in this proof also, this determinant also when I explained here, this determinant actually resembles just like previous one. Okay, so there is a high chance that if one can work it properly, we may have some recursive formula. Okay, fine. So this is about compressed zero divisor graph and characteristic equation one may look about. We did for P power n. There is still for any Zn, it is still a problem. Not even, for example, P power alpha into Q power beta. That is also not known. So one want to see it, one can try that characteristic equation. I'm talking about compressed zero divisor. So compressed zero divisor graph of gamma, that means Z of P power n. Z P power n, it is done. Okay, we also did, and I will show you the other paper. They also did simultaneous, I mean independently, almost within 1 or 2 months that is published. Okay, but for other cases, in remaining cases of Zn, still it is not calculated. One can try that. Is it possible to calculate characteristic equation, or at least if some lambda is a non-zero eigenvalue, can it satisfy some particular type of thing, just like how we did for P square Q? Okay, so that is still open. Fine. Now we come to this Wiener index. So many might be already knowing the definition of a Wiener index of a graph. So if you denote dx comma y, which is the shortest length of the shortest path between those two vertices x comma y, then the Wiener index is nothing but sum of the all possible distances between the vertices. Okay, so summation dx comma y, where x and y are any two vertices. Okay. Fine. Now what we did is we proved the binary index for ZPQ, which is this one. The idea is simple, which I have already explained earlier. What we have to do is we have to split the vertex set or zero divisors into two sets here, which is first one is only the multiples of p, the other one is multiples of p square. And I'll show you the later paper by Pizzada. What they did is they have taken, they have approached this similar way. Then they have splitted the vertex set into only multiples of p, then multiples of p square, multiples of p cube, and so on. Then they have calculated the binary index of ZP power n. Okay, that means first we did this. After that, I know they have generalized. So binary index for ZP power n is calculated by them with similar technique. Of course, even the expressions are very big, but it is basically the same technique they are also used. Okay. Fine. Then to calculate this, how many elements are there in A, that one can find out easily. How many elements are there in B? Okay, just call it as n and m for simplicity. Now, if we want to calculate the binary index, if you take any two vertices, it is possible that say if you call it, this is set A and set B. Okay, here you have some elements, and here you have some elements, right? It is simply classification whether x and y both belongs to here, or x and y both here, or x is in A and y is in B. Okay, so it is like we have three cases. Okay, so if suppose if we are in x and y are in A, then it is easily understood that because if x and y are in A, then they are only multiples of p. So when you multiply them, they are maximum multiples of p square. So it is, they are not adjacent to each other. So if you take any two elements here, then the distance between them is definitely you have to travel here, then here. So the distance is 2 whenever x and y are in A, any two elements if you take. Okay. So next is similarly, if you take x and y are in B, then obviously if you take any two elements here, so the distance between these two is straightforward. We can go from there itself. So distance is 1. So whenever you have a distance here 2, and if one is from A and another is from B, then what is the distance? If x is in from A and y is in B, one is multiple of P and the other one is multiple of P square. So obviously they are adjacent. So the distance is 1. So here you will have only two possibilities. Either distance is 1 or distance is 2 for PQ. Okay. Then we can split this. If they are in same set, that means x and y both are in A, then how we have split it here is you start with x1, then go from x2 onwards. That means x1, x2, x1, x3, and so on. Similarly, if you start from x2, then go to x3, x4, and so on. Okay, that means there was no repetition and so on. Right. Similarly, if x and y are from different sets, then you start with x1 and all the elements of the other set from y1 to y1, y1 to ym, and so on. So with this arrangement, you can calculate, and you can see here if x and y are in A, then the distance is 2. Okay, so here it is distance is 2, and in remaining two cases distance is 1. And how many elements are there is this summation here. Why this n-1, n-2, and so on coming? Because if you see the previous slide, this slide, here you can see that there are n-2 elements, then n-3 elements, and so on. Okay, so because of that, here you will have n-1, n-2, and so on. Similarly, for x and y are in B, then same apply, you can apply m-1, m-2, and so on. But if x, they are in both, one is in the other set, then it is simply summation is every time from 1 to m, but there are n terms, so n times m you will. So with this simplification, of course, you get that the wider index is precisely this. Okay. Then yeah, next one is the binary index of Z p square cube. Okay, so here again, we did for same thing. The main technique is just to use how you can split the, how you can divide the vertices. So we have divided into 4 sets, A, B, C, D. One is multiple of P, Q, then multiple of PQ and P square. Okay. So with this 4, we want to know how distance, what is the maximum distance, what are all different distances are possible. Okay. So you simply call it cardinality of A, B, C as alpha, beta, gamma, delta, so that you can substitute and simplify later. Okay. So the idea is, again, you will have 4 different sets of vertices. Then you will have different possibilities. Okay, that is what how we did. I mean, of course, one can simplify even easier, but how we did, I'm explaining. So with 4, we have seen several possibilities, and for every possibility, we have calculated the distance, and we have finally summed up. Okay. So if you just see 1 or 2 cases, if X and Y both are in A, obviously no 2 elements are adjacent because it is only multiple of P. Okay. So you get distance is 2 because you have to travel at least to the other one, which is nothing but D. Okay. So if you take the help of D, okay, what is D here is, you can see that D is multiples of P square. Okay. Yeah. So here, what we can see that every element of A is adjacent with an element of D. So you go to A to D. Just a second, there is some problem here. Distance is cannot be. Yeah, that should be C. From A, if you take A to C, then P square Q will be 0. It is not D. It is from A to C. So there is, if X and Y are in A, then we can go to C, then come back to A. Okay, so this is not, there is a small mistake here. So this is actually C. Then from A to C, it is adjacent. So you can get distance as 2. Okay. Similarly, if X and Y are 2 elements from B, then from where you can go, this notation, because D it was actually C, so these notations may change. One can easily go through it. It is not a problem. So you try to find all different possibilities. Okay, and what is the distance in this case? One case when actually we are working initially, we missed that case is this one. Again, thanks to Joshi sir, he pointed out when we have sent some for reference. So here there are 2. So when we initially calculated, we thought the distance is 2 or 1. Okay, so we forgot one case where distance is 3. Okay, so that case is that if X is in A and Y is in B, then distance between X comma Y you will get as 3. That means at least you have to travel to two sets. Okay, because no element of A is adjacent with any element of B, so we have to go to another element, that is via this C. So X is adjacent to elements of C, but Y is not adjacent to elements of C. So we want to take from A to C to then to D, then come back to B. Okay. And with similar arguments, one can easily find all the possibilities. Then what we can do is simply X and Y they are in same set, then X and Y are in different sets, and you separate the sum. Because of same sets, you can have from 2 onwards, 3 onwards, and so on. So once you split this and substitute the values, you will get this, and it is a basic calculations. And you, after substituting this alpha beta values, you will get here. Okay. Fine. This alpha is for number of elements of that set A, and this is for number of elements in the element set B, like this. Okay, so what we did is same elements from A, same elements from B, both elements are from A, both elements are from B, both elements are from D, like that. Okay. So as I said, we missed one case in this when we are doing it. We have not noticed at the time. That is the main distance 3. So when we were talking about distance 3. If you see this example, yesterday we have calculated, we have seen this Z12, right? This is the zero divisor graph of Z12. Okay. Now, can somebody see can you give two elements whose distance is 3? Two vertices whose distance has to be 3.
2 and 3.
4 and
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Okay. So 2 and 3, 2 and 9, right? These are the two elements, right? You have to travel 2 to 3 via either 6. You go to 2 to 6, then 6 to 4, 4 to 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Or you go to 6, 8, then 3. Okay. So that case somehow we missed, and then later we have corrected. And I will tell you who has actually pointed out our, you can say, mistake, or that one case is missed. Okay. Then Z P power n. So as I already mentioned, this Shafiuddin Pirzada, and he is the one, if you remember, he got that major project, and I have gone through from this person. Okay, I started working from this person's title. Okay, so they have did this zero divisor graphs of the rings Zn. Okay, very recent paper, and in this they have proved or given the formula, calculated the Wiener index of Zp power n. This image I have taken from their paper. So you can see here, even though it is the expression is longer. Okay, and what this v1, v2, vn minus 1, they are the partitions of this vertex set. Okay, that means exactly same as here. Any vi for them is nothing but this multiples of p power I. Okay, where ki does not divide this. Means v1, v2, just like how we did multiples of only p, multiples of only p square, and so on. So the same thing, they have splitted, you can call it as a partition. So they have splitted the vertex set into the sets vi's, which are only the multiples of p power I. That means you don't have any extra p in that. Okay, this coefficients constant does not divide p. And with these notations, they have given how Wiener zero divisor graph of any Zp power n look like in terms of graph. They have mentioned it, and they have calculated Wiener index. And in this same paper, they have calculated the Wiener index for compressed zero divisor graph also. Okay, so which we have also independently calculated. And in this paper, they have calculated Wiener index of compressed zero divisor graph also. So for Zp power n, compressed as well as normal zero divisor graph, Wiener index of Zp power n, they have calculated, and it is there in this paper. Okay. And next one, after their work, I mean, you can see that it is even latest 2020-21. Wiener index for any n, any natural number, that means Wiener index of Zn, the zero divisor graph Zn, they have calculated. T. Asir, you all might have heard his talk in this refresher course, even though he didn't talk about Wiener index. So he, and along with his student, they have calculated the Wiener index of the zero divisor graph of Zn for any natural number n. So for at least Wiener index for Zn is now complete. Okay, but still for compressed zero divisor graph, it is remaining only for p power n. So far it is calculated. Recent papers also I have seen, but I didn't find after that. Okay, one can try a product of powers of 2 primes and see whether you can calculate it. Okay. Why I am showing this, if you see this much one, this is the statement. So statement itself is such elaborated. There are so many things you have to define, so many things you have to mention there. Under all those things, notations, they have mentioned Wiener index of for any Zn. Okay, whatever notations they have used here, they have defined, and what are these alpha j's, what is this phi. They have also used ceil function, floor function, whatever you call it. Okay. So this is one recent one which clearly clears binary index for this Zn. Okay. Fine. Now I can quickly explain what this binary index of how we have calculated binary index of the compressed zero divisor Zp power n. Okay. So if you take any prime and any natural number, then you consider m, which is p power n, then the binary index is calculated, which is if n is even, then it is n minus 2 into 3n minus 4 upon 4. When is odd, it is n minus 1 into 3n minus 7 by 4. Okay. So most of the time proofs, maximum places it is same for even as well as odd. There is only one extra condition or extra case we will get when n is odd. Okay, that I will try to explain, and remaining things are same. Okay, so whatever you are going to get for even or odd, that is because of one special extra case. Okay. Fine. So how we can do here again, you we already explained for Zp power n, what are all different vertices or different equivalence classes starting from p to p power n minus 1. Okay, that I am calling it as a1, a2, an minus 1. Now you see the distance from a1. If you take distance from a1 up to a distance of a1, a2 or a1, a3 up to a1, an minus 2. If you see, because they are all multiples of p up to pn minus 2, their product is not p power n. So it is not 0. That means they are not adjacent. Okay. So their distance has to be 2. Okay. Of course, they can travel easily from this an minus 1. So a1 to a2, one can calculate distance. One can travel, I mean, what is the path from a1 to a2? From a1, we can go to an minus 1. Okay. From an minus 1 to a2, we have a path. So from a1 to a2, we have a path whose distance is 2. Okay. And this is the shortest path one can get. We cannot have a larger path than this. Sorry, smaller path than this. Okay. And one can see that distance between, of course, a1 to an minus 1 is 1, right? Okay. Now, similarly, you can observe that a2, if you start from a2, then a2 to a3, a2 to up to an minus 2, they are all 1, and a2 to an minus 1, which is 1. Okay. Right? Oh. See, while doing here, you can see that a1, a2 is calculated here, but in this a1, a2 is not there. Because from a2, then a3 we are calculating, right? So distance between a2, a1 we are already calculated. Similarly, you can have, if you take any ai, then distance between ai to next one, which is ai plus 1 up to ai, then an minus I minus 1. Okay, that means from n you subtract I plus 1 or whatever, or minus I minus 1, you do it. Up to that, you can check that the distance, the length is 2. Then from n minus 1 to n minus 1, n minus I plus 1 up to n minus 1, the distance is 1. Okay. So if you write this, and the last one which you will have here is an minus 1, of course, an minus 1 to an, their distance is 1 because their product is 0. They are adjacent, right? With this, now once you have these things, for example, here we have mentioned d of a1 comma a2 is 2. Similarly, here also d of a2 comma a3 is 2. So how many such things are there? So here a1 comma a2, a1 comma a3, how many things are there whose distance is 2 if we know it? Similarly, here whose distance is 2, then we can calculate by separating them. Okay, that means the combinations of the elements whose distance is 2, which are precisely, you can see that a1 to a2, a1 to an minus 1, right? And how many such things will be there? There will be n minus 3 elements will be there here. So there will be n minus 3 combinations because only a1 and an minus 1 are not involved here. Okay, out of n minus 1, 2 you remove, so there are n minus 3. Then similarly from a2 onwards, so there will be n minus 5. N minus 5 combinations will be there because a1, a2, these two are not there. Similarly, an minus 2 and an minus 1, because their distance is 1. Their not distance is not 2. Okay, so from 2 you will that means before a2 you will remove a1 and a2. Similarly, for next time a3 you will remove a1, a2, a3, and after that an minus 3, an minus 2, an minus 1 you will remove. Okay, so if you keep repeating this, you can use this n by 2 floor function. Okay, this distance is 2. Okay, similarly, what are the combinations for 1? If you check similar way what we did for 2, again only 1 will be there for a1 to an minus 1, then 2 will be there for a2, which is a2 an minus 2, and here there is a typo here, it should be a2. So a2 an minus 2 and a2 an minus 2. Okay, these two are there whose distance is 1, and so on. If you go through it, a3 an minus 3, then a3 an minus 2, and so on. So these are 3 terms, and so on. So you will have like 1, 2, 3 whose distance is 1. You will have a better representation here. And finally, what you will have here is you can write in this form. Okay, these are all again n by 2 minus 1, just like n minus 1, or n by 2 minus 1 if it is right. With all these things, the last one, of course, last one is an minus 2 comma an minus 1, whose distance they are adjacent, so this distance is 1. Now put all this together, and only where we will have sorry, is there is no problem with whether n is even or odd. These calculations are similar, but one extra case we will have that I will explain when it odd case come. Okay, so you simply split this into distance either 2 or 1 that we have already observed. So all distance 2 and all distance 1. Then this, if you write a1 to a3, that means if you fix this I a1, then there are n minus 3 whose distance is 2, which we have seen already. And if you take I is equal to 2, then if you vary that summation, then there are n minus 5 terms, and so on. So n minus 3 terms, n minus 5, and so on. Then this is about whose distance is 1. Distance is 1. That means a1, then an minus 1, then a2. For a2 there are 2 and so on. Okay, so if you simplify this, you will get that for n, which is even case. Now when n is odd, it is almost not almost all terms which are fall in even case, those things are there. One extra you will get, which is if n is odd, then in addition to above combinations, whatever combinations we got, we get one more extra combination, which is this combination. That means distance between this n by 2 comma n minus n by 2. Okay, just like how we did right there, ai comma an minus I, right? Now just to understand this one, you take, for example, n is equal to 7. Okay, so if you take n is equal to 7, then what is this one here? This is n by 2, so which is 3.5. So you a3, then 7 minus 3, which is a4. So this case, you can check that this distance is 1. Whereas n is equal to 6, this won't arise, because if n is equal to 6, it is simply distance of a3 comma a3 only. Okay, so with that we don't consider. This case doesn't arise in even case, whereas in odd case, this extra thing will come. Okay, so this is the one. If n is the odd, you will get this extra combination whose distance is 1. Okay, and that we have to add. And how many such things will be there? How many such combination? How many such possibilities are there? There are, of course, one can check here, starting from this floor n by 2 up to going from this, right? Right. So therefore, we have to add whatever we have earlier, this value to that odd case. So this we are already having right? Then we have to add this. Of course, these values are little different when n is odd. Okay, and then simplify, we get this. Okay, so these are the at least only one measure one when we are able to group things. So for example, we started thinking calculating this binary index for any p and any n, and we had a problem this because of this one extra term. So then we have thought first we will do it for even case, then we have do it for odd case. So with several examples, we have seen which term is coming extra, which is not there in even, but which is there in odd. So when with multiple examples, we have analyzed that these terms are there whose distance is 1, which doesn't occur in even case. Okay. Fine. So this is all about my whatever little work I did, and what is remaining in this one is this binary index for Z p power n we have calculated, and same that Pirzada also calculated. His version is little, even though we have little elaborated, but they have simplified in somewhat better way. And for remaining cases of Zn, it is still remain. One can work if one is interested in doing some computations. It may expressions will go larger and larger. So for this compressed zero divisor graph, what I talked about characteristic equation and binary index. So characteristic equation, one can think of finding the recursive formula, or for Z p power n we have calculated. So can we find the characteristic equation for any Zn? That is still remain. Similarly for binary index, even though for zero divisor graph, binary index of Zn is completely classified, but for binary index for compressed zero divisor graph, still it is cases are remain only for p power n. So one may try with some few things, p power alpha into q power beta. Then if you can get some interesting one, then one can generalize easily using that. Okay. So these are the some of the references I yesterday also I given, and these are some of the survey papers. Whoever want to start some work, they can go through these survey papers. They have given very good information. And if you have any doubts, one can ask.
Can you calculate binary index from the eigenvalues? Is there any expression involving eigenvalues and binary index? Because
as far as I know,
binary,
I mean, maybe because binary index is mainly based on distance. So maybe because it is sum of the all possible distances, right?
Right. Yeah.
So whether we have any relation for distances and eigenvalues?
Yeah, I mean there are some certain things. But some of the here you are taking sum of all the distances.
All
there,
yes.
There, for example, there are some sporadic results, like if you calculate power of adjacency matrix, then its ijth entry will give you the number of walks, for example, from vertex I to vertex j. Or there are traces. I think the trace of A, I think, no, trace of A squared, I think, gives you sum of all degrees, but that is degrees, sum of all degrees. So there are some sporadic sort of connections, but I'm not very sure. I mean, so that's why.
And one can also, because if one is already having Z for Z p power n, so if somebody is good at this Kronecker product of those graphs,
okay,
then maybe one can think of Zn, because Zn we can write as product of powers of different primes.
Yeah.
But that also I was not I didn't get actually from last 2 years. I was frankly speaking completely busy with other work, administrative work, especially NAC. So almost from 1.5 years I didn't touch anything. So one can, if one is good at Kronecker product something, then maybe one can try this, because for p power n we know now for even characteristic equation as well as Wiener index. So
Mhm.
based on that, one can, if somebody is very good, one can using softwares,
Yeah.
this Sage or
Like Sage, for
any other
example.
mathematical softwares, one can take help. Then one may try. You may
Yeah.
get huge expressions just like for Zn, how Asir calculated, but it makes sense to complete.
Right.
Somebody is
Getting complicated expressions. I am trying for Z2 cross Z2 cross Z2.
sorry.
I have tried. I have computed Wiener index of Z2 cross n times.
Okay.
So expressions are very complicated.
Yeah, but if at all you are getting a way to find out, because mathematics is all about you can solve it. I mean, how simple or
But
how,
I don't know whether that index is already computed or not. I don't know.
that one should able to find properly, because sometimes what happens, we work on it and that might have already proved it.
Yes,
Or-
in lockdown period, I found it, but I haven't surveyed whether it is already computed or not.
For Zn, it is computed for all n. Na? That is
It's
what
Zn.
sir's shown.
For
Right.
gamma Zn, yeah, for Wiener
Gamma-
index, Wiener index of Zn is over. I mean, in the sense gamma Zn, zero divisor. For compressed zero divisor, it is
Asir has
still,
done it, hopefully.
for compressed, it is still open, because today itself I talked to Asir whether he has worked, because he did for Zn. So I talked to him whether he did anything for compressed gamma Zn. He said no, he didn't think on it. So maybe that Pirzada, I don't know whether he may be doing it or not, but not yet published, or I have not seen anything on archive so far. Maybe Vinayak Joshi sir can give. He is very good at updates and he is the one who guided me many times. I should thank on behalf of everyone. Very lucky, because a professor usually may not interested to have some interaction with a entry level assistant professor or a beginner level researcher. So, but he helped me so many times.
No, it's my pleasure, in fact.
Yes.
As far as Zn is concerned, yes, Asir's paper is there. Nothing more than that.
Yes.
And right now we are doing something using partially ordered sets. That we are doing actually.
Okay.
So maybe by new year we may get some good result. That is what we are expecting. And
Best wishes, sir.
yeah, that will help to talk about the intersection graphs also. This is what we are planning.
Okay.
So maybe we are planning in that direction. Actually, what we are doing, many of the graphs associated with algebraic structure, we are trying to convert it into sort of a graph associated with ordered structure. And once we have converted into order structures, graphs associated with order structure, many of the things becomes much more easy to handle. So this is what my personal experience.
Yes.
And using that thing, yes, we are able to get some good results. Maybe Wiener index for direct product of chains, or I can go one step ahead and I can say that direct product of posets with single atoms. That will help, and that will give me the Wiener index of intersection graphs. That thing is also possible. Of course, looking at the complement. So we devise some techniques. That's why working with zero divisor graphs of direct product of posets with single atom becomes quite easy. That may help us. This is what we feel. So maybe I can share a few things in next lecture, because ultimately I had to deliver next lecture.
Yeah.
Vikas Jadhav sir is